Should have my mic on, I apologize. So we're working on that. That's just some discussion, and we'll keep you all informed. So that's the one thing we wanted to bring out. Okay, this meeting is recorded for live streaming and archiving on the district YouTube channel. Could you all stand and join me in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Okay. Can I get an approval of the agenda as written, please?
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
President Seda.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Moss.
Yes.
Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
And Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I'm turning this back over to you, Dr. Wright.
All right, good evening. At this time, it gives me pleasure to introduce Principal Brianna Kleinschmidt from Benicia High School to introduce the cross-country team.
Yes.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to welcome up our cross-country coach and teacher, Kevin Sinatz, as well as our team members, Dana, Daisha, Riley, Stella, Zora, and Caroline. Hopefully looks like we've got quite a group here tonight. Come on up. So here's their amazing banner. And I'm going to read just a little bit, and then I'll pass it on over to Coach Sinatz. So in August, we were very pleasantly surprised as we were notified that the California Interscholastic Federation recognized the Benicia High School 2023-2024 Girls Cross Country Team as the CIF State Academic Team Champions for Girls Cross Country for the entire state, every team. So this program honors teams and truly are scholar athletes with the highest collective grade point average statewide in their respective sport using unweighted grades only. And our team earned a 4.0 GPA for the whole school year.
You guys are amazing.
So this is definitely about them. So I want to introduce Coach Sinatz, and if any of our team members would like to say anything.
All right.
We don't buy.
It's great to be here with these 5 wonderful runners that we have, who are also 5 wonderful students as well. We have 2 other ones that aren't here, but all I can say is that it's a joy to coach them. And for the ones that I've had a chance to teach, or at least be the teacher in the room, because they really don't need much teaching. They lead themselves. They lead their other runners. They lead the students as well. It's a joy to have you guys, every single one of you, each day. We're very lucky. I have nothing to do with this. This is all them. This is, honestly, this is all them putting in the work, both as athletes and as students. So we're lucky to have them, and congratulations, you guys.
Anybody want to talk?
You are welcome.
No, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
I do want to jump in and just say, knowing them not as well as their teachers do, they represent such a range of other extracurriculars on campus also. So along with being athletes, they're very talented in so many different ways. And so you might see them around campus in leadership positions, in CTE classes, in our visual and performing arts. And so it's just very special that we have all these great programs with amazing staff who take time to do that, and then amazing students who represent us so well as well. Yeah.
It's awesome, you guys.
Can we get a picture with you guys?
We're gonna. They're right here. Go ahead.
And also, if you want to move on with your evening, you're welcome to go and do homework, because apparently you need to do that to get this grades. So, but thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was exciting. Okay, we have our student reports, and we have 3 new people on the different positions at Liberty and at the Benicia, don't get me started, Benicia High School. So usually we'll have Liberty go first. So who is with Liberty? Okay, and you're Kiera Griffin? Okay, so welcome Kiera Griffin from Liberty High School.
Good evening, President Zeta, Superintendent Dr. Wright, fellow trustees, and cabinet members. My name is Kira Griffin, and I will be representing Liberty High School this year. Liberty High School is off to a great start. We want to welcome all the new students and their families. We had our first assembly. We celebrated summer birthdays, students that exceeded their growth goals on the spring NWEA assessment, and students with outstanding attendance for the last school year. We had a great turnout for our back-to-school night. We would like to thank all those from the school district, families, and students who came out to support us. We will be recognizing Suicide Prevention Week. We had our Chalk for Life event yesterday. We'll be learning alongside our advisors and counselor about the idea that it's okay to not be okay. To highlight this important message, we are encouraging everyone to wear either purple or teal on Thursday. We are excited to share that we have several students enrolled in community college classes for the fall semester. Big shout out to Ian. He's taking a welding class at Solano Community College, and Linda is taking a performance arts class at DVC. Please wish them luck. We are planning our first learning through interest field trips. Last week, our English drama class went and saw Wicked in San Francisco. Later on this month, we will be visiting the Solano Auto Program, local tattoo artists, and the Armed Forces. On the behalf of Liberty High School, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You did a great job on your first time out. Okay, next we have Benicia High School. So are you guys splitting the role today, or are just one of you speaking on behalf of Benicia?
Today I will just be speaking.
Okay, and which are you, Isa or Bella?
I'm Bella.
Okay, thank you. Benicia High School, Bella Cannon.
Good evening, President Zeta, Superintendent Dr. Wright, fellow trustees and cabinet members. My name is Bella Cannon, the Senior Vice President, and I will be representing Benicia High School this year. With me is Isabella Renteria, the Junior Treasurer for Benicia High School. In our past few weeks, we had the first few weeks of school. Leadership held a Welcome Week Spirit Week, where students were able to dress up and play fun games at lunch with their friends and just hang out. Monday, students dressed as their hobbies or something they like to get to know new people with similar interests. Tuesday was picture day, so people dressed up for their pictures. Wednesday was country or country club, so people got to dress either in Western wear or kind of preppy wear. Thursday was tie-dye day, and we had water balloons at lunch, and Friday was wear BHS swag. Last Friday, a new club on campus called the Jungle Crew, which partners with leadership, hosted the first tailgate of the season and dressed up the student section at the first home football game. Also, last Friday, seniors got up at 6 a.m. to see the sunrise with their friends at Senior Sunrise. This week, students hoping to create a new club or continue an existing club are expected to turn in a club charter to get their club approved and possibly to hold a booth at our upcoming club fair on September 13th. Our varsity girls volleyball game had, I believe, 2 games this week. They had one on Tuesday and did very well. Also happening this week, girls flag football season has started. I believe they had their first game last week. They had a doubleheader yesterday and they won both, and there were many excited crowds there to watch. And then in our upcoming weeks, our leadership team is working on our homecoming week, which includes the Spirit Week, movie night, rally, football game, and dance. And then next Friday is our club fair, where at lunch students get to walk around and look at all the amazing clubs that other students have created. On behalf of Benicia High School, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is this year's homecoming. Is there a theme?
Yes, but I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Oh, okay. Not a problem. I was just curious.
We'll wait, we'll wait.
We'll wait till we see further down the line.
Should be announced in the next few upcoming weeks.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Great job, by the way. All right, next up is our superintendent report, Dr. Wright. Oh, before I bring you on, you girls are able to leave now if you want. You can stay here at no problem, but you can leave. You don't have to sit here through everything. So that's up to you. Oh, that's up to you. All right, Dr. Wright.
When you said homecoming, it reminded me of homecomings back in the day. I really missed the parades down First Street. Oh, yeah. Gosh, can we bring that back somehow? You know, even if we don't have the floats. I used to call it Friday Night Lights because they would line up, and I was just, it was a great community event. So I'm just dropping a seed. Sorry, Miss Kleinschmidt. Okay. I start my report tonight with a heavy heart. Today our thoughts are with the students, the parents, and the community of Appalachia High School in Georgia. And I'm just waiting for a day when educators and families, we can just do what we want to do when we come to school. School is supposed to be a safe place, a sacred place where students and staff members can teach and learn. And I'm just waiting for the day where we can do that without being harmed. And I'm just asking if you just join me in a moment of silence for the folks out in Appalachia, Georgia. Thank you. It's a tough one. Every time you turn on the TV. I do have some good news. Two of our Benicia schools received gold level positive behavior intervention and support implementation status, PBIS, acronym from California, PBIS. Mary Farmer and Robert Simple, congratulations. We also had 3 of our schools earn silver status, Henderson, Turner, and BHS. So they will be awarded, as far as the award, they can place the recognition badge on their website. It'll also be displayed on the California PBIS website and posted at the 9th Annual California PBIS Conference in Sacramento. So we're very proud of the work of our school sites, and we appreciate the leadership of Dr. Ovick as well. September is Suicide Prevention Month. September 8th through the 14th is Suicide Prevention Week. And I also want to highlight that Kyle Highland Foundation, they're facilitating their walk on Saturday, September 7th at 10 a.m. And they usually start right across the street from Benicia High School on Church Street. I have some additional good news to share. Our NWEA scores, we've increased significantly. And just a reminder, NWEA is that indicator on how students will perform on a state test. So students in grades 2 through 12 just completed the NWEA. I'm going to go back. NWEA fall assessments in reading and math. And we're excited to report that 90% of our 3rd through 12th grade students met or exceeded growth targets in math. That's 90% compared to 60% last year. It's a huge growth. And phenomenal. And students grades 3rd grade through 12th grade, 100% of them met or exceeded projected growth in reading compared to only 50% this time last year. 100% grade levels. So we just want to thank our teachers for their hard work, our administrators, our students. But this is just the beginning. So it's our job to guide them through to the spring, so to make sure that this is reflected on the state test as well. But we just wanted to share that highlight and share the great work of our students and our staff. I want to thank Dr. Beatson for facilitating learning walks. We've started those. We do them on Tuesdays and Thursdays once a month. We have 2 teams of administrators. Our job is to go in there and observe best first instruction and look for evidence of student learning. We don't evaluate teachers. They're not designed for that, but it's designed for administrators to calibrate our skills to know what we're looking for when we go into classrooms. And we do a debriefing. We chart on paper, and then we share with the principal and the teachers all the great things that we saw in the classroom This past week, we went to Turner, and we were also at Farmer. And we do these once a month. If you're interested, you're welcome to join us. I'm also pleased to announce that due to lower interest rates, the district was able to refund some outstanding bonds in the amount of approximately $6 million to our taxpayers. So what we did was we refunded, we swapped out the existing higher interest rates for the lower interest rate, which was at 2.73%. And that generated a savings of about $302,000, which equates to about 3.62% of that bond. So we're able to refund some of the money back to our taxpayers. But I also want to just take the time to thank them for supporting us back with Measure S and also with Measure C. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. And any chance we get to refund money to our taxpayers, we will do so. We have a restorative meeting on September 11th. Lindy Fuller, she's going to present a workshop designed to address and heal racial tensions within educational settings. We've worked with Lindsay Fuller for a few years now. She's phenomenal. She works with our staff, does our PD days. So on September 11th, right here in the boardroom from 6 to 7:30, but it will also be live streamed and recorded, but we encourage you to attend. I'm looking forward to doing my superintendent site visits. I'm launching my site walks next week at Farmer on Tuesday, and then on Fridays and every Friday after that, I will be doing prep period meetings with staff. So I will be starting at Turner, so I'll be there all day. I'll bring my work site over to Turner, and staff members can sign up for an appointment, and we can sit and talk about anything they want to talk about. They want to talk about how the Padres are going to win the World Series, we can do that. If we want to talk about, had to throw that in there because I know we have Giants fans here. And if we want to talk about, anything that's work related, we'll have 10 to 15-minute meetings. So I'm excited to do that and develop relationships with staff. Last thing is back to school night, Benicia Middle School on September 12th at 6 p.m. Thank you.
All right, fellow trustees, does anybody have anything that they would like to share?
I just have one thing very briefly. So I did this past week have my CAP meeting that takes place at Valero. So that's the Community Advisory Panel. And I'm the representative from the school district. And so there's various community members that participate, including our city council members, a couple of them. And so the biggest topic really was still around the industrial safety ordinance that is in the works right now. So it's important that if there's families who have, want to make sure that you have your input on this particular ordinance, it's still in discussion mode and they're still trying to work out things around it. So it's important that if you have something to, that you want to input, that you really, reach out. There is a document that's on the city's website. So I just would encourage you to do that if you're interested in doing that. And if there's ever any issues, of course, me as a representative for the school district, there's always a question if there's, concerns about anything with, for Valero in terms of families and things like that. So, so just make sure you keep that line of communication open. And that's it.
Dr. Moss, anybody else?
I have one.
This is her.
I attended the Benicia High School back to school night, and I think the school has doubled in size probably since we were there, Principal Kleinschmidt. I thought they did a great job. The school looked great, and I want to highlight one thing that happened that was really special. A friend and I were looking at the map because the school is so big now, trying to figure out where to go, and the varsity football team was having their team dinner in the quad, and one of the football players came up to us and said, "Can I help you? Show you where you're going?" And then he said, "Wait a minute, I'll just walk you there." Aww. And I found out who this young gentleman is, and I was going to write you a letter, Principal Kleinschmidt, to commend him because I just thought that was awesome. Absolutely. And I'll send a copy to Coach Sarna as well. So very great to see at Benicia High.
Nice.
I'm liking all this good news. Mr. Maselli, Ms. Grubbs? No, and I don't have anything to share out at this time either. So we're going to move on to our, let me go backwards here. Comments from members of the public. Members of the public may address the board at a regular meeting on any item within the board's jurisdiction. Speaker cards are available at the entrance entrance table. Please note the item you wish to speak to and submit a card to the board secretary. The board president will call open session general comments during the public comment comment item. Comments for items on the agenda will be called during the specific item. Comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker, or the board may limit the total time to 20 minutes per item with the timer displayed up on our monitors. By law, no action may be taken on any item raised during the public comment period, and matters may be referred to staff for placement on a future agenda of the governing board. Please be reminded to keep your comments respectful, as students may be watching the meeting. Thank you. So I don't see any public comments this evening. So we're going to move on to approval of our consent calendar. And background information on these items is provided to the board prior to the meeting. A common motion takes action without discussion on a roll call vote. Unless discussion of item or items is requested by board members. So at this time, I would like to see if we can get a motion to approve the consent calendar as written.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as written.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I'll do the roll call for this.
Yes, please.
President Zeta,
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs,
Yes.
Trustee Moss,
Yes.
Trustee Maselli,
Yes.
and Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
But there is one item, a couple of items to approve. There's a couple different resolutions that are on here, and we just need to put them in a separate, talk about them separately. So approval of resolution 24-25-03. I need to get a motion. Oh, no.
Motion, we just need the roll call.
Roll call, please.
President Zeta,
Here. Oh,
All right. Okay.
Trustee Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Moss, Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
And Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Thank you.
and our next one is resolution number 24-25-04. And we need a separate roll call on that as well. Mrs. Martinez.
Okay, President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs, Trustee Moss, Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
And Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. We are on to item number 12, and there's nothing in our presentations and communication to share out. We have a couple of action items tonight. First one being consideration and approval of the appointment of the Community Advisory Committee representatives. And Mr. Steve Phillips, would you like to come up to the podium?
Yes, please. Good evening. Good to see everyone tonight. I'm going to keep the trend of good news going, I believe. Apologies. Board President Zeta, trustees, Dr. Superintendent Wright, and distinguished guests, thank you for having me tonight. I have a nomination for our CAC. It's our Solano Community Advisory Committee, and the committee serves some important purposes. It is a mandated committee per our special education local plan. This group serves many purposes, including the provision of annual parent education conferences and the annual special education awards presentation. We are very pleased to have Daryl Galiberte and Christina Mills-Gilardin willing to participate in this group on our behalf. And the motion, oh, can I do that part? Well, thank you. Oh, wait, I was so excited.
Come here and sit in this chair.
Maybe not that excited.
So is that all your information that you're sharing?
Yes, unless there were any other questions
Are there any
about the
questions?
candidates.
No, that's really great, Mr. Phillips, that's really, really great. So can I get a motion to, for approval of the appointment of the Community Advisory Committee representatives?
I'll so move.
Thank you. And second?
Second.
Thank you. And next, but not least,
Got a
Call.
roll call.
oh, yes, yes.
Zeta. Trustee Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Moss. Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
And Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Next is consideration and approval of the adoption of updated board policy and administrative regulation 6158 regarding independent study. And Dr. Beatson, you're going to share some info.
Yeah, thank you, President Zeta, and good evening, trustees. I know this, typically we have a first reading and a second reading of board policies, but I bring this to you for your consideration and hopeful approval this evening. Over the summer, there was some new legislation added to the independent study policy. And CSBA hasn't come out with that yet, but we wanted to put in the key changes into our policy this year. And so really the differences are that independent study can now be requested and approved for as little as 1 day. So for instance, if a student is out sick and a parent calls their student in sick, they may say, can we do this as an independent study? So really, for teachers, they have to provide the work anyway when a student is absent by our board policy. For students to make up, the good news on this is we can get ADA for that day as well. So it's a good thing. The other good thing is that in the past, there's a master agreement that comes with an independent study, and it's just a form that has information on it. And in the past, that agreement had to be signed by the student, the parent, the teacher, if the student is in special education, all these folks before the independent study started. And now it is allowed for any time in the year. One of the conversations I did have with Dr. Ovick is people have to identify that they want it to be an independent study at the time they're absent. So it can't be if a student has been absent a whole lot and is potentially heading to SARB that we change this into independent
Good.
study. But it will be, and a question we'll work with our office managers so that they can ask, can we do this as an independent study? So that, again, the work doesn't change. Teachers have to provide that anyway, but it's another way to recoup some ADA. And then the final difference in the new legislation is that the Ed Code now recognizes the difference between short-term independent study, which is 1 to 15 days, and that is before you have to start providing daily synchronous instruction and different kinds of things. So that's called the short-term and long-term independent study. And previously, there were no differentiation in the rules around some of that. So we still have long-term independent study. That's only for high school students. They do it at a semester at a time, so people can't come in and out of that, every other week or anything. So those are the differences in this policy. So it's some tuning up of that, and so I bring it to you for your hopeful approval this evening.
So theoretically, home and hospital versus long-term independent study. If somebody was injured, let's say, and they were not in high school, if they're in junior high, would that still be home and hospital where somebody would have to go to their house as opposed to?
Yes.
They're not allowed to do this.
Because long-term independent study, what happens is we pull them out of their classes at Benicia High School, and we use Edgenuity, which is
Right.
an online platform. So it really changes the experience for the student. So I
That's
think
true.
part of it is dependent on how long that student is going to be out and what makes the most sense. But we still offer home and hospital. Usually that's shorter term if students can't come to school for a pretty severe medical reason.
Thank you.
That's for Benicia Middle School as well.
Home and hospital would be for any student
Any
that
student.
needed it. Well, not any student, but if they qualify for it at any level, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I just have two quick questions. The first one is, so the short term is 1 to 15 days, and is that for the whole year? So like I couldn't call my kid out and put him on independent study every Friday.
Correct. It's
Up to
cumulative.
15.
And so if
Okay.
the rule that we've been doing is because on day 16, and it's cumulative through the year, so if you're out 3 days and then 5 days, the build up to 15 days, on day 16, students, depending on what grade level they're in, get synchronous instruction, which means we would have to figure out a system on day 16, 17, 18 to have a teacher, and it has to be the teacher of record. So if the students are in Dr. Wright's class, it would have to be Dr. Wright to provide some synchronous instruction, and that gets very complicated. So we keep our independent study to 15 days, and then they're just regularly absent if they're beyond that 15 days.
Okay.
That
And
makes
then I'm sure the district already has plans, but do you have plans to roll this out to the community so that parents, everybody knows?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Beetson. Okay, so do I make the amendment, bring it back? We have to change a couple of words in the document? It's all spell check and. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so can I get a motion for the consideration and approval of the adoption of the updated Board Policy Administration Regulation 6158, independent study?
I move that we approve the adoption of the updated board policy admin regulation 6158 for independent study.
Thank you. May I get a second? Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Zeta,
Yes.
Trustee Gross,
Yes.
Trustee Moss, Trustee Maselli,
Yes.
and Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
All right. Well, gosh, that was a really quick meeting. I thank all of you for being here and my colleagues, all the work that they're doing. Superintendent Wright, same thing. I mean, you guys have been doing a lot and it's showing in the district. So thank you to all of you. Our next meeting is on Thursday, September 19th, and we will see you there. Good night.